How do you feel about food rewards? General discussion. As I reflect on my first year as a in-district preschool teacher, I find myself questioning my original thoughts on food rewards and incentives. What are your thoughts on using candy or other small food items as motivation or as rewards in the classroom? As a parent worried about my kids developing good relationships with food, I'm not a fan. Most dietitians recommend avoiding making any food feel like a reward to a child, because it increases their desire for it. When my kid comes home eating a sucker because they were good at school, it undoes a lot of the work that I do at home to create a neutral environment around food, which is frustrating. I would much rather my child get a sticker or something. I give out stickers as prizes for my 9th graders and they love it. I thought you were asking about for us teachers and I was like, heck, yeah, because I'm totally good motivated rolling on the floor laughing. Then I read you meant the kids and, no confused face. Every time there is cake in the teacher's workroom I turn into Mr. Ratburn from Arthur. Oh. Are we having cake? I'm not a fan. My middle school students are always asking for snacks. Once in a while I'll bring in a treat for everyone. There's no way that I'm paying out of pocket for a steady stream of food rewards. One of the teachers on my team already gives daily snacks and talks about how she's always going to Costco. Like, sorry, I have my own kids at home and college tuition for my older kids. I can't afford to reward everyone with food all the time. And those snacks do not improve anything. Their performance doesn't improve, their behavior doesn't improve, nothing improves. Not one thing. The only reason teachers give food rewards is to suit their selfish need to be needed. Absolute no from me. I do not include candy prizes or food incentives. Maybe a pizza party, but that's more focused on the socialization and private food rather than the food itself being the sole reward. Mostly because 1. I do not know their diet habits. I do not know which parents allow added sugars or what types of food. 2. I do not want certain food types to be special occasion food or rewards because I do not want food labeled good, bad, special, etc. because I do not know their feelings or relationships with food itself. 3. I do not want the students to associate good behavior or good feelings with certain foods. I do not want them to seek comfort in sweets or associate their behaviors with them and only feel good when rewarded with food. It's a slippery slope, especially with added sugars. For reference, my prize preferences are erasers, decorative pencils, pencil grips and toppers, and rewards that will last and be functional. Desk pets are also a craze for some kids. It's the worst kind of reward. Instant gratification with no long-term benefit. The reward is usually offered after a prolonged assignment. It's not a 5-minute thing. It's not instant gratification. Cookies and cake taste good to most kids, and in limited quantities are a good thing. Confession, I don't much care for most sweet things. Not a good reward, especially for kids that don't understand that food doesn't equal happiness or comfort. It's possibly setting kids up for disordered eating. 100% this. Not a fan. I'm in a large elementary. Too many dietary restrictions, cultural and healthy wise. My predecessor had ice cream and pizza parties and gave candy bars as rewards, while I know we have vegan and diabetic kids and a stack of kids with nut allergies. I'll occasionally hand out candy after a good day/class if everyone did well or on a special day. I'll have a surprise pizza party or bring snacks for events. I will never withhold food/candy/snacks due to behavior, use food as a prize they need to work toward, give food/candy/snacks to some kids but not others. I'm similar. I don't use it regularly. But if we do anything that competition-based, like Kahoot or something, I'll offer the winning team a reward of their choice between candy or bonus points. Gives them stakes for the competition. What I don't do is use candy as a reward the way I've seen some IEPs suggest. I can't afford that much candy. And, if the teacher has to pay for it out of their pocket, it shouldn't be an accommodation. Or the school should provide it. Only time I give rewards are Jolly Ranchers for the top 5 on Kahoot. Haven't had any complaints with it and I feel it makes the kids more competitive in a healthy sense. This is all I do for my high schoolers. They get to draw out of a container that has Jolly Ranchers, erasers, stickers and some slips of folded paper that have bragging rights/infinite glory and the occasional homework pass. So in my worst class, my coach wanted me to reward my terrible students anytime they showed an inch of progress towards desirable behaviors. I ran with it, because she's a coach. Oh man, it was horrible. My best students started to hate me. They didn't understand why the bad kids always get candy for not even being all that good. The bad kids quickly learned that they shouldn't fix their behavior and just keep inching along and then demanding candy. It solved nothing and made everything worse. So I flipped it. On bad days where I wanted to cry, I'd pull out a bag of candy and hand it only to kids who were good students that day. I explained to the class what I was doing and why. It was a random thing, only when I was having bad days. Suddenly my borderline bad kids were acting right, especially when they saw I was getting frustrated. It isolated my worst students from everyone else. I won't lie and say that new method was perfect. My good kids would start begging for candy. My borderline kids would argue and demand to know why they didn't qualify for candy. But if you have to go a candy method, don't reward bad kids. Reward good kids. I have turned against such food rewards. Reasons include the following. I want my students to develop dopamine spikes from attempting challenging tasks, not from extrinsic rewards. My students are affluent enough to buy their own snacks and treats, and are accomplished shoplifters. My offerings are paltry incentive. I dislike having sugared-up students. So I do not create them for myself or colleagues who have them after me. I wind up eating them all myself. I don't allow food in my room. I only do food on days like field day where we are outside and doing celebrations anyway, never as rewards really. I believe kids are given way too many sugary products at school, and treating food as rewards is pretty bad for forming healthy habits. I'm not big on rewards anyway. I participate in whatever the school currency system is if there is one, but I focus on other positive behavior reinforcement like increased freedom of choices, high fives and cheers, and the like. I did it my first year and felt icky the whole time. The problem was it worked a lot of the time. So I ignored that I was going against my beliefs on diet culture and assigning morals to food. Ultimately I have stopped. I may do working toward the class party or non-edible prizes, but as someone who had an eating disorder I can't in good faith use food as something that needs to be earned. We started out with schools in Connecticut where they did not allow outside food in the classroom, including for rewards and for birthdays. They encouraged non-food rewards such as stickers, extra time on the playground, etc. They used responsive classroom and logical consequences and social-emotional learning for discipline. We then moved to Ohio and later Georgia, where both used candy as rewards. They also ran their schools like prisons and used PBS. And had less recess time than in CT. Guess which system was more effective? I know candy is easier than getting kids to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, especially in today's environment, but I really miss the no candy / outside food in the classroom days. I don't like doing it mostly because it costs me money. I teach high school, and I prefer doing ticket drawings for intangible prizes. If they win, they get to draw a piece of paper from a hat with their prize written on it. I've had prizes like sitting in my office chair for the day, at their own desk, a positive parent phone call or email home. Their parents give much better rewards than I do when I do this, an assignment skip, or, this one gets an eye roll. But they kind of sort of love it, a cheesy joke that I wrote on the piece of paper. This is great. I may or may not be yoinking this idea. I give out tickets as rewards, and they can use them to buy little things. 1 to 3 tickets, pencils, erasers, vinyl stickers, glitter pens, scenty pencils. Fidget toys, Play-Doh, usually things I get from the $1 store or Amazon in a pack. All the way up to $5 items that cost 80 to 100 tickets. Kids save all year to get those. I have done candy, but it's 3 tickets, and they usually can't get more than 1 to 2 per day. So at the very least it isn't instant gratification. It works. I had a PE specialist as part of our team who was an amazing health educator. In the years we got to work together he taught us a huge amount about supporting wise eating habits, and better ideas for recognition than food or sugar. The only but we couldn't crack was the sugar glazed donuts that were the traditional, we're talking 25 years, reward for finishers of our turkey trot. Good times and much wisdom. Ken, you're the best. Ever. A good alternative to a food reward is a change of scenery when they eat their food. Try letting students earn lunch with a teacher or a class picnic. We have a school garden and they can work toward earning read-alouds in the garden. A good alternative to a food reward is a change of scenery when they eat their food. Try letting students earn lunch with a teacher or a class picnic. We have a school garden and they can work toward earning read-alouds in the garden. That being said, I do some food rewards as well. When I taught 3rd grade we earned an ice cream sundae from learning multiplication facts. But it was 12 weeks of practicing and testing skills for that reward. Now that I teach primary, I will always give my kids a Starburst if our class gets a compliment from another teacher or admin. Otherwise I just use food around holidays when we're having class parties anyway.